Hi there friends, TJ here from Six Missing. I have a few minutes while an episode I'm working on is exporting and I figured I could show you some of the guitars in my studio. So let's check it out. So I want to start with my first guitar, which is my very first love, the guitar that made me want to play guitar before I even knew how to play guitar, is a 1964 Gretch Clipper. It has the original tag inside where it says that it is handmade in Brooklyn, New York. So this is when it was still being made in the Williamsburg factory. That building is actually now luxury condos, so yay capitalism. But this guitar was my uncle's, my dad's brother, Uncle Chuck, who is no longer with us today. But when he was here and alive, I found this guitar up in my grandma's attic, just in the case, and the thing, it still smells like the case, which is incredible. But the thing about this is just, it's beautifully made. You just can't find a fault with it. It's light, it's balanced, it just feels good when you put it in your hand. And maybe because this is the guitar that I grew up learning guitar on, it just is how my hand was formed. But yeah, this thing sounds so great, unplugged even. It's just loud, it's bright. It never fails. And it's been set up once in the past 10 years and it just holds everything. I would go broke before I sold this guitar or did anything. Yeah, this is a forever piece. It's just always going to be with me. So let's move on. Whoops. We caught it on tape. The guitar pick disappearing. All right. So let's move on. So my Uncle Chuck's guitar was my first electric guitar that I got. The first new electric guitar that I purchased, or that my parents purchased for me when I was a kid, is this 2000 American Standard Fender Strat. It's just a workhorse. It's like the guitar of guitars. It is just something that feels good. It again is really balanced. It's where my hand was formed even more. And yeah, so let's talk about it. I swapped out the pickups for a vintage noiseless pair, which is great because single coils can be really buzzy. And I used this guitar when I was in a band called The Scarlet for a handful of years, and it was just on every recording, it was on every show. It played every show with me. It also suffered some poor decisions. I don't know if you can see that there. It suffered some poor decisions after, you know, spending a rowdy evening with your friends, I guess you could say. But this thing has just been with me forever. It's a 25-year-old guitar at this point, and it shows no signs of stopping at all. It has just this amazing bridge trem in it that is just like, man, the thing stays in tune. I don't know what it is. Maybe they were making them better in 2000s than they are now, but maybe that's not true at all. But yeah, it's just so great. The wear on the neck is just from my own hands and my own playing. So I love this guitar. Strat, you gotta have a Strat. I grew up listening to Pink Floyd and Eric Clapton, Derek and the Dominoes. Like, everybody had a Strat and I just wanted one. Jimi Hendrix. And so I went for the classic black and white because of that cover of Riding with the King of B.B. King and Eric Clapton. It just was so elegant. And I remember looking at the Sam Ash magazine coming to my parents' house and just lusting after something like this. So my dad took me down to Sam Ash in Mamaroneck, which is White Plains, and we picked this up. I kind of remember it being somewhere around the neighborhood of like $800, but boy, has this paid off. Gotta have a Strat. Okay, let's keep moving. So after the Strat, I took the left turn into hard rock and became the world's biggest AC/DC fan. So I had to get myself a SG. And this is a 2000 Gibson SG Standard. I have in the neck a 57 Classic, and in the bridge an Angus Young Signature. I have swapped out the bridge and the tailpiece only very recently to be a Faber system, and it's really amazing, holds its tune so well, has so much sustain, which I just kind of always think of Spinal Tap with the just listen to the sustain. But yeah, it's set up to be hybrid playing, so I can play with my fingers or I can play with a slide. So the string gauge is split between 11s and 10s. The pots just got swapped out this year. And to be honest with you, I can't remember what they were. Vintage inspired pots. That's what it was. Vintage inspired pickups. They make some great pots. They sound awesome. And we also finally fixed this damn switch because they get dirty over the years. Again, another 25-year-old guitar. This guitar is just like, this was my first guitar that I bought myself with my savings and waited and had one of those little charts with a thermometer and just worked my way towards that. But boy, do I love this guitar. I loved this guitar. I played so many shows with it. I would play all of AC/DC's Live at Donington from start to finish on the guitar. I would rehearse the set. I would play the set front to back. I probably still know it. It's somewhere in my hands. And last summer, I got way into AC/DC again and taught myself the riffs all over again, learned the solos. And boy, Angus, just the best, the best. So much fun as a band. But just a Gibson SG, I mean, God, you can't go wrong with it. Black Sabbath, Derek Trucks, Angus Young, like what more do you need, really? Just an incredibly warm, amazing instrument. All right. So as I'm realizing now, I have a lot of guitars, and it's a lot of fun. Here we are to my big baddie, my Les Paul Standard Plus. It is probably from 2003. Yes, 2003. This thing is heavy. It is like a tree trunk, but holy shit, does it sing. I just recently put in last year bare knuckle Stormy Monday pickups to get some of that Dwayne twang. And again, we did the split gauge strings where we did 10s and 11s, so I could do finger picking and also slide. I think we swapped out the harness, the wiring harness for Emerson Custom, and as well as their toggle switch. And what an upgrade, honestly. Like you wouldn't think so, but it really makes a big difference. Emerson isn't giving me any money for this. I would happily take another set if they want to send them to me, but it actually does make a difference. And the thing is awesome. I fell in love with Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction in high school, maybe middle school, into high school, Slash's melodic playing, Jimmy Page. Honestly, Stairway to Heaven was the first hard rock song I have ever heard, period. Hard stop there. And so yeah, I would just play all of Led Zeppelin. I would tune to the record because the record's tuning is weird, because their tuning was weird. It's just an amazing rock and roll instrument, but it can also be incredibly sweet and soulful and just delicate. So yeah, this has been on actually a lot of the newer stuff coming up for Six Missing, as well as the SG. So this is the Les Paul. And it's just so fun to see like the colors change, over the years. You know, this is a 22-year-old guitar, and again, just a rock and roll machine. Okay, we're getting there, folks. Let's see, what else do we have here? So when I was in college, I had ended up getting this Telecaster because I never had a Telecaster. This is 2005 Fender Telecaster. This is the American version of that, so I guess just standard. This one's just so fun because it's tuned down to C sharp open tuning. And it's clearly out of tune. This thing has been in bands with me for a very long time as well. This was the one that I actually started playing in the Scarlett just because I thought it looked so cool. And it does look so cool. I actually did all the relicking myself on it in college. Again, with friends while making bad decisions. I did that. And on the back here, I actually have carved in, I had all of my friends that were my friends, and still a lot of them to this day, carved in their initials on the guitar. So that's really special. And then I named the guitar Rosa because when we opened the guitar up, there was a little post-it in here that said Rosa, and it must have been the person that was inspecting the guitar. So I named it after her, Rosa. So this is Rosa, open C sharp tuning, C sharp open tuning. It's just weird. It feels great. It's just barky and bitey and yeah, everything you want a Telecaster to be. I mean, Bruce Springsteen, like the list goes on of Telecaster players. So happy to have one in my possession. All right, what else do we have here? So we're coming up on nearing the end here. So this is an Epiphone VS Dot. This one is one of my kind of like secret-y weapons. It's a hollow body guitar, semi-hollow, I guess. Whenever I was doing like jam band stuff or Grateful Dead stuff, fishy stuff, this was the guitar that I was using just because it's just so fun. It's so balanced. I mean, it just sits right where you want it to. The neck is very similar to the Gretsch that I have. So the funny story about this guitar is it might be stolen. I honestly have no idea. It was on Reverb being sold through a legitimate person when I was working at a studio in the city. Found it online, it looked like a really good price. But when I got it, there is no serial number on the official tab. So who knows what actually goes on with this. So where it says serial number, it's just empty, so I put my name. Used a little felt marker and did that. But yeah, I call this one the Telephone. I put some electrical tape and wrote Telephone on it just to be cheeky. But yeah, it's a 2005, I guess, and I got it in maybe 2008. Just sustain and pluck and chime, everything you would want from like an ES335 type guitar at not an ES335 price, which is pretty cool because ES335s are amazing, but their price tags come along with it. Okay, we're almost at the end here. So after we went through those there, I almost forgot my acoustic guitar. I have this one 6-string, and I have a 12-string in my parents' home. But yeah, this is going to be... The surprise about this guitar is it never goes out of tune, ever. And if it does go out of tune, it goes all together, so it's just in another standard tuning. But it is big, it is bright, it is loud, it can be soft, it can be very loud, it projects. Man, this guitar is just everything I've ever wanted in an acoustic guitar, especially when I was performing in the folk rock band that I was in, and we would do these trio shows. We would play like 3 hours long, and you just need something that really cuts through the sound environment that you are in a bar. And this guitar will definitely do it. It's been with me forever, quite literally since I was 12. Got it at Guitar Center in Mamaroneck. Went into their room and played a whole bunch of guitars. I of course wanted the one that looked like the Eric Clapton guitar a little bit, but the neck on the Eric Clapton guitars were so strange. They were like almost V-shaped, and this is just a nice C, kind of D almost. I don't know what you would call it, but yeah, it's equipped with the Fishman acoustic pickup in there, but it really doesn't need it. It's so loud and so bright, and this thing just stays in tune. It's a champ. It's a beautiful piece of wood. Again, just a Martin acoustic guitar. Love this thing forever and ever. Okay, so now we're nearing the end. We have my pride and joy. They all are, but this one is affectionately called and known the Hannah. Hannah is my wife. This guitar was the result of me finally having enough money after getting sober 11 years ago, and wanting to really buy myself something to mark the start of a new chapter. And I named it Hannah because I love my wife, but also because she encouraged me to go for this. And yeah, it's a Jazzmaster classic player. It's made in Mexico from the year 2013, I guess, which is when I got it. It's been heavily modified. So we kept the stock tuners on, but I put a Mastery tree string thing. We had the Creamery make custom hand-wound pickups, put in a Mastery bridge and trem. We knocked the pots down from 1 meg to 500K. We snipped out the rhythm circuit because when I was playing shows, I would have the rhythm circuit off, and my hand would hit the switch and my guitar would just cut out. So pro tip, if you have a Jazzmaster, just snip the rhythm circuit. I know you think you need it, you don't need it. Ensue the comments. Yeah, so this guitar, I have on it Gabriel Tenorio GTS company strings. They last you like years, so this one is great. I took this guitar often to 30th Street Guitars on 27th Street in New York, and Matt Brewster peeled the finish off the neck and sealed it for me, because you get that kind of like stickiness when your hand starts getting sweaty from playing a show, and now you don't have that. It's just smooth as butter. And yeah, he took great care of this guitar, and I love it. You literally could step on this Mastery trem and it'll come right back into tune. Jazzmaster to me was just like this guitar that I had to have. It was just this body style that felt like it fit me. And of course, falling in love with Nels Cline, all of his avant-garde work, all of the stuff with Wilco, all the stuff with his trio and beyond, I just needed it. And so it happened, and it's named Hannah, and she's got her name carved in the back right here, which is just below my heart, because that's where this guitar belongs and where she always is. Aww. Okay, final guitar. This one I got last year, last July, when I told you that I was going through my renaissance of rock and roll, classic rock, and falling back in love with AC/DC, and specifically with the genius that is Angus Young. And let me just tell you, 1969 Gibson SG Standard. I did a video about it on my YouTube channel. I made a song with it called Find Center right after I bought this guitar. There aren't enough things, good things, that I could say about this guitar. There's just an endless amount. I mean, my God, 1969 Gibson SG Standard conceivably could be one of the models that Angus had and used, and for a good reason. It's light. It is one of the lightest guitars that I own. It sits and just hangs on your body so perfectly. It is magic. It is balanced. The vibrato as the lyre, I don't know. We're gonna have to fact check that. But it's the standard. It's 1968 dated pots, so it was actually a 68 model assembled in 1969. The pickups are standard to the era, 1969. Nothing was swapped out. Everything just feels so damn good. It is just amazing to have this old piece of wood, and you can tell it just has stories and it has a lot more to give. And I will be the next steward of it for the next 50, 60, 70 years and beyond. Just something about it wants to be played. It wants to write songs. It wants to be buttery. It's just amazing. So I got it from here in Austin, Austin Vintage Guitars. So now I have a piece to commemorate living in Austin. All right, so thanks for bearing with me on this, for checking out my guitars. I hope you've enjoyed it. For better or worse, I have a lot of guitars and I make ambient music with synths, but that's all about to change, so stay tuned. There's a lot of guitar work coming up on upcoming records, a lot of slide playing, a lot of ambient guitar with all my pedals over here. I think you're gonna really love it. Thank you for stopping by and spending some time with me. We'll see how this comes out. If y'all enjoyed this, maybe I'll do more with the studio overall, the synths and the pedals and all of that. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'm TJ, otherwise known as Six Missing. See you soon.